My dear children, I write this letter to you as testimony of my undying love. Deorcus, my beloved, you will honor our goddess more than I ever could. Rickard, my cherished, find your father's steel and face the challenges ahead.
What happened?
She knew Marike was coming for her.
Never forget, the bonds that tie the six of you will be your strength.
Lies. You should have saved her.
She deserves the peace of death.
What an interesting family you must have.
Is that fear I sense?
Stay in the light. Never give into darkness. Your loving mother, Marhin.
Hello everyone. Hope you can all hear me pretty well. If not, please let me know. I'm looking at the chat right now. Yeah, you can hear me. All good. This sounds good. And the audio of the music is not too loud either. All right, perfect. Okay, so welcome to the stream. It's been quite a long time. I think last time we did a community stream was right before launch or at launch. Yeah, music might be a bit too loud. Okay, I'm just gonna lower the music a little bit. We don't really need the music to be that loud anyway, right? So let's there we go. All right, 10% less music. Okay, so yeah, for anyone who's new here about the community stream, what they are, what are they? Community streams, very simple. It's just streams we do, like kind of in a chill way, where I sit down with you guys and you can ask your questions, and I just yap around about like random stuff about game development. It's basically a exchange moment so that, you know, you guys have access to the devs, and yeah. Usually we try to do that once per month, but we've been very, very busy with the patch, as you can imagine. Once we launched, we had like a lot of feedback on the content, the character creator, sorry, and we kind of wanted to make sure that we got that out of the door before we started like doing those streams again. Yeah, tell my kitties that I love them. Yeah. Kitties are kind of melting right now. In France, it's like 38 degrees Celsius. So I don't know how much Fahrenheit that is. Some people might be able to convert that for me. I'm not American enough for that. Okay, so a couple of things. I've seen a few questions first. I know that some of you are like hoping for some kind of like shadow drop update. Guys, we just made an update. It's not that fast. You have to remember we're like 35 people, so when we do a big update, then we do a couple of hotfixes, and then we need like a couple of months to like, you know, get back to our next big update. So we're still gonna do, I think, one hotfix on Monday for like a couple of like, you know, stability issues or like beards that don't fit very well. But other than that, it's not gonna be like any content, and the next content update, just like the roadmap says, is going to be in Q3. And we're gonna have the co-op multiplayer. So it's going to be play with your friends, it's going to be play online, it's going to be also one new class that we're gonna be adding. And there's also going to be community events and just other world events that are being added. So I'm not revealing the class right now because that was not planned. We're not gonna like spoil it so far. But yeah. Okay, okay, yeah. Okay, I see 38 Celsius is roughly 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And someone's just saying that in Bretagne is only 21, so I'm very, very jealous right now. Yeah, everyone is like melting into a puddle. Yes, European without AC. We do have AC at our studio. So I'm working from home on Friday, which is why I can do like the, you know, chill streams from home, because it's after the office hours. Yes, the community contest winners will be announced during the stream. So, and it will be also announced like after, like on Monday when we do like the hotfix patch notes. We'll also, put the winners there again. Oh yeah, and I had some people reporting that the screen is a little bit like not centered. That's normal. It's because it's meant to be like this, because we're going to be showing some characters made by the community. So some of you may remember that we've been asking for people to share their character on Discord, and we're gonna share a few of them today, so that everyone can see what other people have been doing and all that. And remember, you can actually share your characters now because they are files in your folders, in your save folders, so you can do that. All right, let me just mute Discord because like I'm getting pinged for some reason. Okay, no new contest during the stream. No. It's not gonna be a contest during the stream. It's just announcing the winners. And we are going to be first of all, let's actually leave that screen so that we can actually land on a screen that you may well know very well. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. That's not what I wanted to click. So we are going to have in the background some community-made characters. So those are characters made by you guys, not us. Although we did sneak in a few of ours, and you'll see they'll be easily recognizable because of their naming convention. So this, let me just take out my document. So there we go. This one is Arcana made by Draragon, and she is as far as I know, I think it's a halfling fighter. So that we are. And by the way, the goal of this stream is not just to like show characters. If you have any questions, again, please feel free to talk about them, ask them. And I'm also going to be up a little bit about the character creator update. So like what we did, how it came to be, and all that kind of thing. I see a question from Alt F4 will help. Please don't do this. It will close the window. New character design saving system. Is it possible to tweak your characters mid-game? So there is as a planned feature. There's what we call like a magic mirror that a lot of games have, which will be added at some point during the development. I think it's probably going to come before 1.0, and we're still looking at the what the feature will be able to do. So how far can you change your character? Do we allow changing your ancestry? That could that could have a lot of impact. I do know that at some point we also wanted to be to let people be able to respec, because Solasta 2 now has sorry, I was going to say multiplayer, but I meant multi-classing. So because it has multi-classing in-game, it's fairly easy for newer players who don't really know about D&D and who are experimenting to brick their characters, right? That's something that can happen. If you try to do a barbarian and you say, oh yeah, barbarian sorcerer sounds fun, and then you realize that during rage you cannot use your spells, and then you're like, okay, that's completely useless, right? So if you can't respec, you're kind of stuck unless you have a save from a previous file. Have the winners already been notified, or is that a reveal for them too? It's going to be a reveal for them. The winners of the community contest have not been notified yet. Hi Miz, did the devs update the fact that you have to exit the advanced character creator and edit the... Yes, so there's a bug right now that when you are making a character in advanced mode, it doesn't prompt you the save character option to your collection. You need to like exit that and then edit your character, and when you save again, then it says, do you want to save your character? I think this is going to be fixed in the hotfix on Monday, so that's already something. Any chance we get a free demo of the character-only version so that we can share creations? We're likely not going to do that, and I'm going to actually answer this, plus another question I saw on Discord about why the demo, for example, has been removed, right? It's like, oh, you guys have a game, and you used to have like a free version, kind of like you could play the game as a demo without having to buy the game. Why did you remove that? So for the demo itself, the answer is fairly simple. We long debated about keeping the demo, yes or no. But the problem about the demo, if you remember, is the demo is very old. It was done during the time when we were still using 5th edition and not 5.5. So the rule set's completely different. There's a lot of features that changed. The characters, most of the faces have changed. Lip sync has changed. So while it does give you a good idea of what Solasta 2 is about, running around with a party, combat felt pretty good, some dialogue options and all that, you did miss a lot of the actual, stuff about the game, like character creation, and a lot of the rules changed. And also, why I say the rules changed, and I repeated that, is because that there are some people who are very, very, passionate about 5e and who don't like 5.5, and that's fine. Like, to each their own. And we don't want these people to like play the demo, feel like, oh yeah, that's a game for me, and then they buy the game, and by the time they created their characters, because some people take a long time to create their character, right? So they're gonna be clicking around and all that, and maybe it's going to happen that they pass like more than 2 hours, and then they get in game and they realize after like an hour of tutorial and intro, hey, wait, that's not 5th edition rules, that's 5.5, and I don't like 5.5. And then get disappointed, right? So we really don't want that to happen. We want people to have a, if they play the game, to have like a relevant experience of the game. And that makes me jump back to your question, just Norris, which is, what about making a free demo of just the character creator? One of the reasons why I'm saying that this is not something we kind of envision is because it takes a lot of time to do those things. Making a demo and like separating something from the existing game, meaning like you have to either obfuscate or like you have like to unlink a lot of things, but still you remove stuff, but you make sure that the stuff you remove does not break the stuff that's still in there. And there's a lot of complication on that. Maybe it's not that hard because, like, again, I'm not a programmer, so I don't know the tech side of it, but I do know that it's going to take time regardless if you want to do that. And right now, all the time we want to put it into new updates, new content. There's already people, like, who are not really used to early access or who expect more from early access, who are, leaving reviews about, hey, it's cool that you guys listen to the community and update the character creator, but we want more content. We have played the existing content and it's not enough, and we want more content. And we're like, yeah, we know, we want to put more content too, right? But it takes time. So yeah. All right, let's see. Follow-up strike and ambidextry has been broken in this recent update. I know about that, don't worry, we've seen that. So it's not going to be fixed in the hotfix. It's probably going to have to wait a little bit longer, but we're aware of that. And the reason why it got like broken was probably due to the implementation of the now you need to properly attack with a light weapon before doing the second attack with your offhand when you're doing when you're using dual wield. Unfortunately, when it was added to the game, apparently it did not pass the test on the follow-up strike and on the ambidextrous feat, and that means that it doesn't work anymore. Will there be an in-game mod manager? I do not know about that. Modding is something that we very much enjoy, as you can imagine, with all the wonderful unfinished business mod that we had in our Solasta 1. But modding in itself is a huge can of worms, as in, like, if you want to support modding, it's very complex to do so officially. There's a reason why the modding tools for, if you remember, CD Projekt Red added official modding tools to Cyberpunk and to Witcher 3, very late in their life cycle, like few years after the 1.0 release. And the reason for that is, like I said, it's very complicated. And first of all, we want to make a very good game. We want to support the game and do patches and fixes. And modders, they do their things in their lives, right? They are with their tools, and they break the game. They change the game, and it's really cool, right? They add new classes, they add new races, they add whatever they want. but at the same time, it's like it's not necessarily, they're not doing so with what like the way we are doing it. So it's very hard to like already implement a kind of like a modding manager when we don't even know what the mods are going to be and how they are going to work, right? So modding, very cool. Official modding tools, not for the moment. What's been your favorite subclass so far? I'll have to get back to you on that one. I have to think about it a little bit more because I worked on most of them. Okay, actually, we are 15 minutes into the stream, so usually at that moment we have most of the viewers already there. So we're going to start by making an announcement on the contest. So the community contest and the winners. So as a reminder, we had a community contest on April about creating new world events for the world map. Those events were limited to non-combat events for now, because we wanted to see how much we could do before we went into adding, I don't know, like quests or like combat and all that kind of thing. As you imagine, like the more complicated the world events become, and the more time it takes to do, and also the more costly it becomes. So the first draft of this type of events was only text choices and also only more or less positive outcome, because at the moment we have a limited options on what an event could do, right? So we are going to announce 15 winners. So we didn't say how many we would win, because we didn't really know how much it would cost us at the moment to like implement one. And after discussing with the production team, which is the team that goes, do we actually have the time and money to do that? So those guys are very important in game development, by the way. If you don't have a production team, it can very easily go into feature creep or delays and all that kind of thing, right? So we basically decided to agree on 15 winners. There's been hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of applications, submissions, and a lot of them were really cool, like a lot of creativity in there. Some of them were a little bit too out there too, that happens. There's things that don't really match the settings, or that asked for stuff that we didn't have, like, adding pets, and it's like, oh yeah, but we don't have pets in this game, so that just cannot work. Or like, adding a mount, like, oh yeah, you get a horse, and it's like, we don't have horses in this game. We cannot just do that on a whim, right? So okay, sorry. Let's stop delaying and start announcing the winners. So we have 15 winners. The starting one is Peter Maguire with Unexpected Guests as an event, and then we have Eric Paulson with Ominous Cave. We have Sabrina Arnold with Glamour Pool. We have Caden Sterling with Songs from Below. We have Frankie Bayak with Bard Song. We have Joe Claddingbull with Mysterious Nest. We have Gaz with a Curious Boy. We have Emery with Silent Guardian. We have Bones of Darkness by Trudun Master. We have The Grounded Sailor by Hotenshi. We have The Strange Prism by Delech Alexi. Lover's Rest by Riala. Wandering Scammer by Cat Overlord. And Gilded Trick by Andrew Pratt. And the last one is The Sickly Father by Matthew B. So don't worry if you didn't catch all of that. You have a recap in the hotfix patch notes on Monday. So yeah, I didn't check if anyone was in the chat that won. I'm just gonna scroll through the comments a little bit, because when I'm reading, of course, I'm not reading the chat. Let's see. All right, so okay, I'll go back to the questions. I'm just gonna scroll down a little bit to see if there was any winner here. All right, so going back to answer a few questions that I missed. We do have, all right, so the first one is, let's see, is there going to be some kind of sandbox where players can create maps for their own purpose, which is basically a dungeon creator, right? The dungeon maker. This is a question that's come back a lot in or Discord or just in general. Solasta 1 had a dungeon maker. Solasta 2 currently does not have one. But it's something that we do kind of want to make. It's just a question of when can we make the dungeon maker, because it takes a lot of time away from making the campaign, the main campaign, of course. So, of course, the number one priority for us is to make a complete game for 1.0. We don't want to be like, making a game and then selling you bits and pieces and DLCs on top of that. So we want to make a fully finished campaign that feels good to play. And after that, we also, ideally want to, if we are missing classes, add the missing classes and DLCs, or if we're missing the, the dungeon creator, maybe try to make the dungeon creator, because that's something we did in Solasta 1, and I do think, I'm gonna give you a little secret there. I do think right now our CEO has put some vacation days, just so that he can go in his cave and tinker with the dungeon creator, as in try to make a prototype work. That doesn't mean that it's going to come in the next update, so fair warning. That just means that he wanted to take some time off to try and see what he could do on his spare time. He is someone who's very dedicated to to his work, and I can only admire him for that. But we do see some updates sometimes in Unreal being like, "Ooh, boom, Matthew has committed dungeon creator test." so we'll see. Maybe we'll have good news. I hope we'll have good news. But please don't expect too much, especially during early access. We still need to finish the game first. All right. Would you mind covering the roadmap? So yeah. Okay, you know what? Actually, that's a very good point. I'm gonna open the roadmap on Steam. Let me just... Steam, Solasta 2. Let me center that as well. I'm gonna put it here. I'm gonna open the roadmap. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to change the scene so that you can see the roadmap. Okay, so, sorry about that. Oh, that's not the good thing to... Nope, that's not the good thing. Alright, let's see. There we go, that's the roadmap. So, I hope it's big enough so you guys can read. So, for the moment, we've gone through the early access release. 6 classes: the wizard, the fighter, the rogue, the cleric, and the sorcerer and the paladin, right? Each of them have 2 subclasses, with the cleric having 3. And we have the 4 basic ancestry, which are human, dwarf, elf, and halflings, with a level cap at 4. We also have a big part of Act 1, which is what you guys have been playing, plus a lot of roaming on the world map. By the way, some people I've seen feel like the game is a little bit short at the moment. I can tell you, if you haven't already really, tried to explore the world map, do so. There's a ton of special fights, mini bosses, hidden maps. So if you just beeline from quest to quest, you're gonna miss all of that. And there's some really good loot and really nice fights out there in the world map. So now we did a bonus update 0.5. It wasn't really planned at first. It was just that we realized that after launching, a lot of people had issues with the character creator, and we're like, you know what? Fair enough. Let's just go back and let's do that better. So that's what we just released. Q3 will see the update 1, the first official update that we wanted to do, which is going to have multiplayer, co-op multiplayer, 1 new class, add more customization. So I saw someone asking, will we have more beards, more haircut, more tattoos? So yes, there will be more stuff, and it's not just going to be for update 1. There's going to be more stuff, when we move on through early access to add more and more customization. And there will be new world events. So, the things that I said about go on the world map and explore, please do so. You'll see that there's not just yes, no events. There are actually fairly cool boss fights, and some fairly hard as well. And then Q4, we plan to add 2 new ancestries, 1 new class on top of the new class coming in update 1. Levels cap move to 6, so you'll have level 3 spells like Fireball. And also we want to increase the amount of content you have access to. So you'll have more of Act 1, the start of Act 2, But Solasta 2 is not exactly linear, so that it's not going to be like complete Act 1. It's more likely going to be like more pieces of Act 1 going to Act 2, but there will be probably other paths you can take at 1.0. And also, we probably want to add the crafting system at that moment so that you guys can like play around with it and give us your feedback. So that is the... Wait, did I... Oh, I think the... Sorry, I think my feedback for some reason is still showing me like 10 minutes ago. So I... yeah, I didn't... I was still seeing like the character's face instead of the roadmap. Okay, so I think that covers the roadmap. I'm going to go back to the game. There we go. Okay. And just scroll back a little bit to get more questions. So we covered the roadmap. I'm scrolling through a little bit quicker because otherwise we're gonna like yap so much, and I'm sorry about that. I know it's been 30 minutes and I've just been yapping, but usually that's what a community stream is. If you only hear like that this is the first time you're here, you know that yapping is what I do best. So how many hours would the main campaign take approximately? I think the goal that we had was 40 to 50 hours, but it's very hard to give you a straight number when there is a lot of factors. There is the time you take into fights, because like some people are very good at like D&D fights and they can just like plow through the fights like no problem, and that means that it's going to be shorter for them. And it also depends on how many like, you know, like what path are you going to take on the main quest as well. But ideally we want the, you know, players to have at least 40 hours to, you know, finish the game. It doesn't mean that speedrunners won't be able to do it faster. It doesn't mean that 100% won't be doing that in 100 hours, but it does mean that we do have kind of a goal in head. We need a warning for the point of no return and a way to continue after completing whatever is the last step of EA. So that's something that we discussed internally for the continue playing. I think the thing was that we did not want, like the discussion was around it basically would sequence break. If you allow the player to keep on going into the world map and do whatever they want after the end of the quest, that would mean that we need to like break a few things internally so that players can do that we would need to fix again when we do the next part. And I think that, like, you know, the team didn't want to do something like that. As for the warning of point of no return, that's probably just like, you know, a little bit of more work that we didn't want to add there because we wanted to focus on like debugging all this stuff. But I do agree with you that, you know, it can be very abrupt. You can load a previous save though. When can we expect it to come out? If you're talking about the roadmap, their dates are there. Like it's third quarter and fourth quarter. So third quarter is June, July. No, wait. Third quarter is July, August, and September, and the fourth quarter is November, December. Wait, October, November, December. I think. Yeah. So sorry, I kind of like moved it a little bit. Will Artificer be a playable class in the future? No, Artificer is not SRD, so we cannot use it. So as a reminder, we are as a studio, we are using the SRD, not the full license. That means that we cannot use the official subclasses aside from the SRD one. For those who don't know what SRD is, it's a system reference document, which is basically the rules of D&D we can use. Like, for example, rolling a d20 to attack, right? That's the rule of D&D. The classes, and one subclass per class can be used. So, for example, for the fighter, it is champion. The reason why we don't have them in Solasta 2 is because we are trying to put all the classes in 1.0. As a reminder, I think Solasta 1 started with 7 classes instead of like 12. So that's why we are cutting down on the subclasses and we're trying to push and make more classes instead. That doesn't mean that DLCs won't have like more subclasses, so don't worry about that. I'm looking forward to the release of the soundtrack. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're still working with the same compositor. Very, very good guy. let's see. Maybe show a different character. Sorry. Yeah, we've been on Arcana for a long time. We got Ariel here, who is a very original, with some very nice scars. It almost I would almost say it looks like a. I was gonna say Eladrin, but that's not Eladrin I was thinking about. What Aasimar? Yeah, Aasimar. When I think Aasimar, I would kind of like see something like that with white skin and kind of like golden hair and all that kind of thing. So, pretty cool character, Ariel. And I think Ariel is from... It is also from the same guy, same person. I don't know if it's a guy or a girl. Name Draragon. So, real nice character. Kintsugian people, exactly. That is also it, right? Then we have this little guy here. This little, I think it's a dwarf, or is it a halfling? But anyway, so Baoli, very very original name. Still the same guy, Dragon. Kind of like the eyes with the extra wrinkles that is made using tattoos. Then we have Beryl, who's also a, I would say dwarf, right? That he doesn't have like the pointy ears, so I don't think he's a halfling. Very interesting build, very nice tattoos. And we have Bilk, another little halfling, nice little fighter. This one, feisty, with his scar on the cheek and his hair. And all of these are also from Dragon. So right now we are like doing Dragon. Oh yeah, no, Bilk is from Rain Simpier. So this guy is from someone else. And then we have a good old human, Brutus. Brutus is from Gamersurg. Alright, so we're gonna stay on Brutus for a little bit while I catch some other questions. Any Psionic class available at launch? No, Psionics are also not SRD, but that doesn't mean that we cannot make like a homebrew Psionic class if we wanted to. At the moment, we are trying to make all 12 classes available. That's the #1 priority. Once we get through the 12 classes, maybe we can start thinking about like another class. But ideally, we usually want to stay as close as possible to the original game. And actually, I'm kind of seeing right now on the screen that the characters may be a little bit too zoomed in, so you don't get to see his there we go. All right, zoom out a little bit. There we go. We get to see your chin, my boy. Okay, there we go. All right. It looks like a diva. Yeah, that's true. Diva. But the wait, a diva? Isn't that like a class of angel in D&D? I think it's one of the angels, right? The diva. Did they made it a playable race in the 4th edition? I didn't play 4th edition for too long, so I don't remember that. Is verticality in the early access with spells? Okay, so right now, as you know, compared to Solasta 1, you cannot aim upward, right? That's something that we cannot do. But that's also because we haven't added flight yet in game. I do believe with early access 2, you'll get access to level 3 spells, including flight. So I think our programmers are working on it to have it implemented. I do not know yet if you'll be able to, free aim in the sky, because it's a little bit more complicated than in Solasta 1, since we're no longer using like cube worlds like Minecraft. But I'll have to see with them. It might be possible. Is the max level going to be 10? Yes. At the moment, the planned max level is going to be 10 for 1.0. Can the woman dwarfs have beard? Yes, you can add beards on any character if you want to. What's your favorite homebrew that Solasta 2 brought to the 5.5 rules? I can't answer that out of, like right now like that, because I don't exactly remember all the homebrew stuff we made for Solasta 2. So I don't want to start like spouting random random stuff. Oh, it was Divine Touch for Diva. Okay, okay. All right. If there's no other question, I'm gonna move on a little bit on to the other characters. But please, if you do have questions, or if I didn't answer yours because I missed the questions, please feel free to ask them again in chat, and I'll probably get to them. All right. So we had Brutus, then we have Canopy, very good looking elf, very good looking lady made by Ethereal. We have Kumba, that is also a very nice looking lady here. And Kumba has been made by Inidor. Then we have Dev. For some reason, I don't know if we should feel like this is pointing at someone or just the developers in the gaming industry in general, with who are like usually white dudes with beards. I'm not taking shot at anyone in the studio. Actually, do we have a programmer with a large beard? I don't think so. Sorry for the bottle water crackling, making a little bit of noise next to the microphone. Yeah, we don't have a heavily bearded developer. Programmer. Okay, that doesn't work then. And Dev was made by Rain Sempier. And then we got Diego, who is made by Ogre Commander. We know. You're trying to pass yourself as a human, sharing characters with us, but we know you're an ogre. Do we have any other question that I'm looking at? Any plan for high-level DLC in the future? Okay, well, just to be clear, with any question that has to do with DLCs, we do not know yet for DLCs. Our plan is for 1.0 to be complete first. And when we get to close to the end and that we are starting to see the, wrapping up 1.0, then we'll think about DLCs. It can, right? Like, Solasta 1 had DLCs that increased the level cap to 16. So it's not impossible to do it. It's just a question of like, will we do DLCs? And if we do DLCs, what kind of DLC will we do? I'm afraid you need to grow a massive beard now, Miz, to fill up that gap. I cannot grow a massive beard. Have you seen my genes? Unfortunately, Asian genes are not very, very, helpful when it comes to growing a beard. What you see right now on my face is basically as much as I can get. After that, it just doesn't work anymore. Need a pet millennial with a man bun and a bear in the flannel. Well, hire one. Well, I mean, hiring people takes money, right? The reason why we're still 35 people is also because, like, we're not made of infinite money. How do backgrounds play into the game? Backgrounds in Solasta 2 are fairly simple. It's just the character stats that change, and a origin feat, and the different skill proficiencies. Unlike Solasta 1, you're not going to have a background quest because of the start of the game. When you played Solasta 1, you know that you're playing 4 strangers who meet in a tavern, which is a very classic D&D starting point. But Solasta 2 has a lot more centralized... centralized. I don't know even if that's even an English word. A much more, like, scenaristic, I would say, start, where you are playing one of 4 siblings. So it doesn't really make sense that suddenly they get into a different country, in different continent, and somehow they have, background quests popping up there. ASMR stream confirmed. Oh, you don't want me to do ASMR. There's nothing sexy about me drinking water. What's your homebrew process be like? Okay, so the way we do homebrew is fairly simple. Usually we try to avoid doing homebrew as much as possible because one of the pillar of the development of Solasta and Tactical Adventures is staying true to the source material, the tabletop material. We decide to do homebrew when there's a few reasons why we might decide to do homebrew. One, something doesn't translate well at all onto computer from pen and paper. It's like it doesn't work, or it's just something that just doesn't make sense for a computer player. If that's the case, we might just adjust it so that it is more understandable for people who play video games. I'm trying to find an example, but I don't have one on top of my mind, so it's a little bit difficult. Second, our homebrew when it's something that is a little bit too convoluted and that would need like it would clutter the game a lot. So one example would be, I think one of the example was tactical mind for the fighter, which is anytime you fail a d20 check, or a specific one, I kind of forget. You would have a prompt that would say, do you want to use tactical mind so that you can add 1d10 to your roll? And in practice, when you did that, a player that had a fighter would have that all the time. Like every time they would do something, it's like, poop, pop up. Do you want to? Like, no, just it just breaks all the fun, the immersion. It slows down the game by infinity. So what we decided to do instead was, hey, it is now an activable feature that gives you a bonus for 1 minute or something like that. We're not saying it's balanced right now, right? It could be changed in the future because there's other solution. But that's an example of stuff that can be annoying, like constant pop-ups to ask you, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Imagine the lucky feat implemented in Solasta. Lucky, basically, if you don't know the feat on tabletop, is anytime you roll a d20, or anytime someone roll a d20 against you, you can say, I don't like that result, I'm re-rolling it. Any freaking roll you do, you're gonna have a pop-up saying, do you want to use lucky? And you're like, dude, like, let me play the game. So that's another example of why we would do homebrew at this point. And some other time it can also be, but that's more rare because we don't want to push the game too far away from what it is in table. It's like something can be like, this is too weak or this is too strong, and we want to like tweak it a little. One example was in Solasta 1, the Berserker back in 5th edition was, let's be honest, a fairly bad subclass in terms of power. And we added the homebrew that is fairly popular in a lot of tables, which is when you use Frenzy. Back then, using Frenzy would mean that you get exhausted after the fight. So what we did is we added a Constitution saving throw to see if you get exhausted. The more you use it, the higher the saving throw would be, but you don't like immediately get screwed over because you use Frenzy on your Berserker, which is completely stupid because, like, again, the Berserker's whole identity is I use Frenzy. So you're saying you have a feature, but you get punished for using it. And punished, like, exhaustion in 5th edition, not 5.5, is debilitating. It was like, you get disadvantage on all your freaking attack rolls, and it's like, I'm a barbarian that we're gonna attack all the time. It's like, yeah, but, screw you, because you use Frenzy. So now you're done, you're done for the day. It's like, okay, well, fuck me then. So, yeah. Sorry about that. Let's that's just me ranting about D&D. If you ever catch me around a drink and talk D&D, I have a lot of opinions. All right, let's move on. What did I miss? I totally forgot the live. Oh, you didn't miss much. It's just me ranting and chatting about stuff, showing a couple of community created characters, and also announcing the winners of the community contest for the world map event, which, again, if you missed them, don't worry, we'll probably call them again before the stream ends, and it will be also in an article, so that you know that, if you want to check and you're like, oh crap, I don't want to scroll through 2 hours of live content to just see when the guy talks about this. Don't worry, we know about that. I'm not gonna do like the YouTube stuff where it's like, yeah, just click through the video. Just try to find it. We don't have any ad revenue on that, so yeah, if you see any ads, that's not on us. That's just YouTube being YouTube. All right, I'm still hoping that we can get custom backgrounds. Yes, this is something that is being looked at. We know that a lot of people are saying restricted backgrounds. Okay, that's cool for a roleplay, but on the video game, I kind of want to make my own choices. we understand it's something that we're gonna look into. Are there any plans for a deluxe physical edition with maps, figures, various knickknack, and physical, like, you know, disc and all that? It's not impossible. So I was almost gonna say no, but I can't really say no for two reasons. So just to give you guys a little bit more of an idea of why it's not easy making a deluxe edition, physical content is difficult to produce, especially for a small company such as us. We don't have any department that can take care of that. Like, for example, when we did Solasta 1 with the Kickstarter and the physical goods, you know who organized all that? Myself. I'm the community lead. I am not like a physical project manager, like, you know, physical goods project manager. So, like, of course I didn't do it alone, right? Like, a lot of people helped, but we had like partners and all that, but it was still a lot of my time spending, organizing, you know, and basically making sure that stuff was getting done, sending the files, reminding people of like, hey, by the way, are we gonna, you know, make the deadline? Oh shit, yeah, we have to pay like the bills as well. Okay. And then when we had to send that overseas, it was a pain in the ass with all the customs. I had to go print hundreds or so different papers for customs and manually fill them up with the people's address and the content of their box, just so that they didn't get blocked at the customs, while also not knowing anything about customs before I started doing that. So yeah, as you can imagine, a lot of work. So when you hear all that, that's why I was leaning more towards saying no. But there's another thing now, and the reason why I'm not saying now outright is because we are under the big brother that is called Kepler. So you might have seen that already, because it's already also in our credits. But Kepler Interactive is helping us on Solasta 2. So it is still self-funded. It's still the game funded by Tactical Adventures, but they're helping a lot when it comes to support. And for those who don't know Kepler are also the the publishers behind something called Expedition 33, but also other games such as Pacific Drive, Rematch. So they have a couple of very, very nice games. They're also the publisher behind Orbitals, which is coming on Switch, I think, fairly soon in September. So yeah, they are very competent in what they do, and if we ever do a physical edition, it's probably going to be with their help. So it could happen. I'm not saying it can't happen, but it's difficult, and again, it's costly as well. I'm going through the questions. Any function launching with the game for us to create our own adventure? Okay, I already answered that, so I'm sorry. You'll have probably to like watch the beginning, but it's talking about the character, the dungeon creator, and the fact that we are working on it. We just don't know if and when we're gonna be able to release that. It would be cool if there were a pre-adventure for story purpose to see these characters interacting with their mother, brother, sister before the event of the game. That would be ideal, but again, that's a lot of time, right? That would mean that we need to create a physical model for Maheen, which is the mother of the, orphans. Probably a lot of models as well for the other characters that might be with them and all that kind of thing. Put like a cutscene around that. But again, I'm not saying that this is not a good idea. I'm just saying that it depends on the time we have, and right now we are more focused on making sure that the game, can be completed with the ending, for example, the end cutscene, because that's going to be a big one as well. Will other classes like Ranger and Barbarian be available in the full version? So that's the ideal thing, which is the ideal world is we get all 12 classes at 1.0. So you already know that we have we have 6 classes. We have one more in Early Access 1 update, another one in Early Access 2 update, so that's already 8 classes. So that means that we have 4 more for 1.0. I'm Asian and can grow a beard everywhere except for one spot under my nose. Yeah, well, I mean, like, Asian have like a lot of variety. When you say Asian, like it's like European or African. Like there's so many different, type of people. And I know that some people can get like a very, very nice beard. You've seen like some Japanese actors with like a very, very cool looking beard, trimmed and all that. I can't get that. My Chinese genes won't allow it. And there's also Chinese people who have very, very luscious beards. I can't have that. It's out of my reach. It's like a treasure I can never get myself. Let's see. I'm hoping half orcs as a race. Okay, so when it comes to half orcs, it is difficult to answer, and the reason for that is twofold. First, I've seen people, for example, asking about dragonborns, right? What about dragonborns? Everyone loves dragonborns, and we do too. The biggest issue about dragonborns is that it is not humanoid. So compared to all the different like races you see on screen, like, you know, human, elves, dwarves, who share a fairly common, like, let's say, archetype at first, dragonborn just, like, you know, steps on all that and be like, "Yo, be gone." It would be like saying, "Hey, we want to make Sickles," right? Like the Sickles, I want to play a Sickles. That's the same. It's like, it's a completely different character. So it takes time to work on those, and we are not even sure at the moment. We can't promise that there will be dragonborns at release because it is something that is taking a lot of time. So will we have more ancestries? Yes. What will we have as ancestries? I cannot give you a clear answer yet. There are ancestries we absolutely want, and we don't even know if they make it. And then there are ancestries like half orcs, which are not even in the 5.5 anymore, where it's like, okay, are we really going to make half orc if we can do like dragonborn instead, or tiefling instead, or gnome instead? Probably not. If we have the time, maybe. But it's not like a guarantee. So half orcs might be difficult. Like, I don't know, maybe orcs, right? But maybe we're gonna tell me, maybe the, you know, writer's gonna tell me orcs are not like native to Neokos, so orcs might not be available or something like that. I don't know. Although technically speaking, you're an orphan from Ferendra, so yeah, Neokos doesn't really matter. Okay, let's see. I pray that half-elves are back. So half-elves are a little bit more lucky because there's a lot of people who like half-elves and who like voted for half-elves. So we know it's not in 5.5, but if we do make more ancestries, there's more chance of half-elves than half-orcs. I'm sorry, half-orc lovers, but you're just like not very numerous. I'd like to request some homebrew that gives rangers access to heavy armor without a feat. At this point, you're just pretty much role-playing a fighter. You do realize that you can make a fighter using dexterity or dual wield, and you can even make them cast spells by choosing like a Aether Warden instead of having to play a ranger if you want like heavy armor, because heavy armor is very, very powerful, and it kind of clashes with the idea of the ranger, who's mostly a dexterity class, right? You can do dexterity ranger with dual wield or dexterity ranger with long range, but a ranger that uses heavy armor has 0 dexterity. It's like, at this point, probably just play fighter. Just turn into the stream. Has a winner been announced yet? Yes, they have been announced, but just so it's clear, it's going to be in an article on Monday as well. Okay, let's see a few other characters before we go back to yapping about questions some more. So we have Durgrim by Ellen Gord, a nicely trimmed bear. Nicely trimmed bear. So bear. What the fuck am I saying? A dwarf. Then we got Freya, who is also a very funny-looking dwarf with tattoos being used to make it as if it was his stash, which I would say it's fairly original. Nicely done. I do like him. He's a little bit chubby too. Nice little wizard. Then we do get Kellis. Freya is also made by Alan Gord. By Draragon. Draragon, who's making a lot of those. We got Kellis the Wizard, who is made by, I think Kellis is Alan Gord as well. We got Madame Edda, which I like very much, with a lot of makeup. And I think I'm gonna keep the screen on that while I answer some more questions. To let you guys enjoy the pristine appearance of Madame Edda. Let's see. Solasta 1 Paladin with Smite pop-ups for every attack. Yes, that's a good example of the thing that would pop up all the time. Now 2024 Berserker is great. Yes, I do agree with you. It's much better than before. Sorry, that does mean that I'm very, very, very late on the answers. Sorry about that. I'm just gonna mute myself to... You know the worst part about that is like it's fucking 40 degrees outside and I have a summer cold for some reason. Because the body just does what the body wants. It's so freaking hot and yet I get like a cold. Screw you, body. Okay, let's see. Favorite part is me ranting about D&D. Oh my lord, you're never gonna hear the end of it. Let's see. Custom backgrounds. Yes. Can we discuss the co-op date yet? My +1 has been ready to dive back. So the only thing we can say is that, like the roadmap is stating, the update is going to be coming in Q3. So Q3, June, July, August. Wait, September. Wait. Yeah. No, it's July, August, September. And then Q4 is October, November, December. I keep on getting those mixed up. You'd assume that I can't count, and you would be almost right. Let's see. Questions. Scrolling. Yeah, for physical content, you need a decent external specialist. Yes. Thankfully, back in Solasta 1, we had the help of Andy from the Rookery. I don't know if you know about the Rookery. I think it's fairly small, but they're UK based and they help a ton for basically anything. Like he basically saved our lives. And we also had another guy. I forgot his name. I think his name was Nicola. I forgot. I'm really sorry if he's like ever if he ever land on the stream. He helped us a lot about anything that has to do with shipping. Like he basically organized all the warehouses, all the different shipping containers and all that, which is just a nightmare. Especially if you remember, because COVID hit and prices went up, and then it was a nightmare. Like we basically ate the loss for our Kickstarter. We decided not to increase the price that people paid for shipping, even though shipping, because of the the pandemic and COVID, the shipping prices had like doubled, tripled, and a lot of the Kickstarters we saw basically asked after, when they were really when they were ready to ship their content, they would ask the players or the buyers to spend more to increase the price they paid for shipping, which, again, like, to their defense, a lot of them can't necessarily afford to eat the cost. Thankfully, because we're a video game company, most of our revenue comes from video games, so we could, but that didn't really help a lot, right? That meant that a lot of the money that we were hoping to make on the Kickstarter, we didn't really make, because we spent those shipping the content to... Sorry, well, I keep on saying the content. Shipping the merchandise to all the buyers. It kind of sucked, but hey, that's just how it is. Then what do you have? Any stand for a Gestalt mode? I cannot remember what Gestalt mode. I remember reading about that. Oh, is that the mode where when you take another level, you can basically you level, if you say you multi-class fighter wizard, you get one level in both fighter and the wizard. No, that's probably not planned, because again, our max cap is level 10, and if you were to get one level in two different classes every time, you would be pretty much the equivalent of level 20 and just roll over every boss that you can find. Hello Remnos, pleasure to see you too. Let's see. Oh shit. Did I? Okay, Yeah, no. I misclicked on something and almost like blocked someone for like by clicking on the wrong thing. Would it be possible to have flashbacks or back in the day interaction with the woman that raised us? You know what? I'm pretty sure that our cinematic artist would love to do something like that, but I do not know if he would be given the time because we already have a lot of cutscenes, scheduled. So I'll bring that to him. I'll bring back to the team, and he'll probably tell me that he would love to, but he has no time. And Cat, please don't try to move on the keyboard. I'm just gonna make him go away. Yeah, just go there. Yeah, there we go. Good cat. Oh shit. Yeah, sorry about that. My cat, just go now. There we go. Will we get gnomes? Yes, we will get gnomes. Probably. Yeah, I would say yes, because it seemed like it was one of the obvious race we would add. But honestly, I cannot promise anything. So it's more of a tentative yes. Like, more chance we have gnomes than that we have orcs. Just for the idea. Sorry about that. Still have a little leaky faucet here in my nose. Let's see. Other questions? Sickless, about Ranger, talking about the average humanoid size. Yes, there's also a problem about the size. So if you make like a character that's too big, the cameras wouldn't be able to fit him into the screen. So you would have to spend the entire adventure with him being out of focus in the cutscenes. And although very, very humoristic, and I would be very, very, very much enjoying that kind of thing, I don't know if it's something that our, storytelling team would enjoy very much. When will we have a level cap bump? That would be early access to level 6. It's Q4. I'm Q4. Alright, I'm gonna move on to a few other characters. So now we have Medusa. Medusa, who is made by Ithrael. And we got Millie. Millie, who's made by Rin Sampier. Then we have Moriveth. Moriveth, good battle-hardened fighter, made by Rafisi. And then we have a couple of special guests made from our art director, who's just spent a bit of time having fun. We got a Not an Orc, which is totally not an orc. We got Not Azog, which is, again, totally not Azog. We got Not Drax. We got Not Gamora. Turns out someone has been watching Guardian of the Galaxy. We got Not Geralt. And then we got Not Kratos. And then moving on, we'll just pause here on Nur, made by Gunslinger, while I go and get more question. Let's see. Alright, let's see. Will Jephtha's speed be increased to 30 feet when gnomes are playable? Wait, is Jephtha's speed not 30 feet? Because, wait, 5.5e, every character has 30 feet of movement, right? Or are the halflings still stuck at 25 feet? That's something that I don't remember much because I don't play halfling and gnomes, so I don't really remember that. Let me check. Let me check that. Now Drax looks very cool. Can you have a party of 6 or the 4's maximum? So the way it works in Solasta 2 is we are still with the party of 4 main characters, because that's something that we kind of like, it's kind of the DNA of Solasta. But because we know that a lot of people have been asking for a party of 6, what we decided to do was that you do have followers now, like Jephthah or Satina, and the party size can go up to 6. You can have up to 2 followers. Let me just check again. So I was saying we are looking at the halflings. Okay, so gnomes are 30 feet. Okay, and halflings are 30 feet as well. So if Jetfa is only 25 feet, then it's probably just a little mistake from when we were still in 5th edition. And that's actually a good point. I'm just gonna check next time I'm at the office. I heard Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 are up for a remake. Here's to hoping they don't update those games to 5th edition or a prototype of the 6th edition. I would doubt them. I would doubt that they do that. Because, like, again, the remake, usually it's more like getting people to enjoy the old game, but, you know, with a new coat of paint, plus, you know, a lot of quality of life stuff that doesn't really come with just a remaster. So... But then again, no, because I was gonna say like the example of Final Fantasy Remake is it's not a good one, because Final Fantasy Remake technically is not a remake, because it follows a different story, right? So it's like it's almost like a sequel. Because I was gonna say Final Fantasy Remake uses a completely different system, like you're no longer like ATB. Oh, you kind of have an ATB, but you also have like real time fighting, which purists are kind of like iffy about. I like those not characters great as presets. No, because we don't we don't want to have people knocking at our door being like, "Hello, have you talked to our lawyers here?" So yeah. Yeah, everyone's 30 feet. Okay, everyone's 30 feet. Let's see. What would be the speed in kilometer hours? Oh, I think someone calculated that. 30 feet per turn is around 9 meter per 6 second. So that would be 1.5 meter per second, which is, I think, insanely fast. So 1.5 meter per second times 60 seconds in a minute times 60 seconds in an hour. Yes, in an hour. What? You would be going... No, actually, that's not that much. Never mind. I'm it's 5.4 kilometer per hour. So it's definitely not a lot. Well, I mean, that's when you're walking, right? So let's say you're dashing. So if you're dashing, you're going 11 kilometers an hour, which is definitely fast, if I remember correctly. Well, how fast does an average human run? How fast does average human run? 45 kilometers per hour? I'm totally off then. But then again, that's also thinking about sprinting, I guess, right? If it's a marathon, how much is a marathon speed? Okay, 45 is sprinter. Okay. So speed, average human, marathon. Sorry, we're going on tangents, but that's basically how it goes in the stream. I don't want the time. I don't want the average time. I just want the speed. What's the speed? Okay, standard marathon is 42 kilometers, and it takes around 4 hours to 5 hours to finish. Okay, so yeah, you would be a good marathon runner with this speed. Sorry. Okay, back to watching what people actually talk about in the chat, and not me googling speed for that. We want 6-player in multiplayer. Well, I mean, I guess maybe there will be mods to allow that. Is the game well optimized? I would confidently say not really, because optimization is something we do on the way to 1.0. So it is optimized to play okay, but is it like perfectly optimized? No. We're probably gonna make more optimization. Supernatural subrace stuff like vampirism and entropy. Oh, I think you're talking about the werewolf stuff, right? Probably not. Like I said, we are already struggling to get all the official, ancestries first. Now the real question is, when are we going to be able to play a warlock fish character? A warlock, maybe. A fish character, probably not. Let's see. On my PC, I have to lower the specs a lot, and it lags a lot. Yeah, I know. Solasta 2 compared to Solasta 1 is chugging. But that's also something that we have. I mean, it's one of the requirements because like we were making the game looks much better, right? Because like Solasta 1 was not the best looking game. Oh. Yeah, 45 kilometers an hour is this 100 meter sprint. Okay. That's not human. That's true. That's true, Kilgit. That's not for human. That's not the speed of, like, you know, marathoners. They're not running in full plate. Like you're freaking monster of a beast of a adventurer. They're running with full gear, armor, shield, you know, weapon, backpack, where you fucking stuck 3 armors you looted from other people. So yeah. No, okay. They're good. They're good. And I'm not even talking about the monk or the, you know, the rogue who double dashes. Yeah, these characters are is it an Aladdin swallow? An Aladdin swallow? I don't know. Straight to the bottom of the pit with you. Let's see. Is it feasible to get a platform to share a custom character's look? So right now the characters, there are files, right? One of the things we want to try and see is if we can make the characters become codes to export, and that would make it so much easier to share, right? Think about like Hearthstone decks where you can just like copy paste a string, like a long string, and it's just like poof, immediately you got the thing. So that will make it easier instead of like saying, hey, here's my character, I uploaded it, and then you have to download it and all that. Is Warlock class planned for launch? Like I said, all the classes are technically planned for the 1.0, as in like we want to have them all. Are they gonna all make it in? We still have to see it. A cheaper way to put Mahin memories in the game instead of cutscenes is only text. So you have to remember as well that in Solasta 2, everything is voiced, unless it's like a book that you read, right? So it's not completely impossible, but that could be an option. I don't know. I'll have to see with the team. Solasta 1 aesthetics looked homely. Yeah, that's true. That's true. It kind of looked like you know, I get what you mean by homely. It's like kind of old school. Rules are not physics. Oh yeah. Well, I know Brimcon, but it's kind of funny to, you know, make a thought experiment, right? Like if you're trying to do that and Google search just to prove your DM wrong, that yes, you should be able to run faster or whatever, or like do something stupid, then yes, that I would like slap the silly out of you and say, well, this is D&D. Like this is like your physics don't apply here. You have no power here. So yeah, no peasant railgun. But it is fun to talk about that around a beer or something, being like, hey, you know, trying to apply that. How fast would they actually go? Let's see. Solasta 1 you can change. Yeah. Well, I mean, Solasta 2 now you can do that too. That's how I have like those characters on screen right now. You can share your characters, but ideally we would like to make a code. I don't know, when I say code, I don't know if it's a code about the character or it's just the appearance. Okay, let's move on a little bit. Let's see. So we had Ner by Gunslinger, and now we're gonna move on to Ophelia. Nice little elf here, Ophelia Cleric. And that is by Good Boy Man. Good Boy Man. Then we got Prison by Ithro. Very pointy face. We got Richa, which I don't know how to pronounce, but I enjoy very much. A portly little woman dwarf, which we don't see many of. Ready to kick ass with her paladin gear. We got Rinsey, which I like very much. One of the few instances we've seen of a female character with a male haircut, which actually works very well on that character. Considering she's a fighter, it does make sense. Long hair can be dangerous when adventuring, but we don't punish style. We got a very, very interesting looking character in Rune, the wizard. I really enjoy the look and the tattoo and all that. Very creative. Actually, I'm gonna just let you guys admire Rune when while I actually go on to answering more questions. If you have gnomes, then Richa will be read on. Okay. Wait, what's happening? Is there like bots? 'Cause I see someone saying like talking about bots. If there's bots, just ignore them. Just ignore them. Is Solasta based on 5th or 5.5? So Solasta 2 is 5.5. We decided to go with the 5.5. It does kind of look like Rise, you're right. Although Rise is bold. Looks like Sébastien Chabal. Those French people. Damn those French people. As a metalhead, I agree. Okay. Okay, and then we're gonna show a few of the last one, and actually if there's no more question, I'll probably wrap it here, because it is very hot, and I'm like melting down right now. Because I've turned off my fan, because if I do turn on my fan, you're gonna hear that. And that's not gonna be very pleasant, because yeah, as you can hear, it goes like grrr in the background. So, yep, turning off the fan. Alright, watching the last few. So we had Rune that was from Dararagon. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention the creators. So Ophelia was by Good Boy Man. We had Prison by Ethereal. We had Richa by Julie Jane. Rinsey was from Rens and Pier. Draragon made Rune. Okay, so Draragon, a lot of the faces they made it onto the stream because they are pretty cool. Sammy made Ogre... Oh, no, sorry. Sammy was by Ogre Commander. Nice little halfling. I do enjoy a nice little halfling. We don't have that many of them. Then we got Sapphire by Julie Jane. Who either have freckles or a very bad case of something deadly. But, hey, we don't judge. She looks fine. D&D has, like, cure disease and all that, so all good. Then we got Strunk by Draragon again. Strunk the dwarf. We got Troll, who is absolutely terrible. Looks like he got punched in both eyes after a bar brawl. And honestly, it looks like he deserved it, but I wouldn't judge too much. I do enjoy his big nose. Troll, who's also from Dragon. Then we got the Snork from Dragon, another cool-looking dwarf. And we are going to end with Zora by Ogre Commander, with a nice use of the... I forgot what the name that is of that is. It's the Vitiligo. There we go. And we've gone through the selection of characters. Is the team still hoping to include a dungeon maker? Yes. We're still planning to introduce a dungeon maker. We just don't know if we can make it. or when we can make it, but we are trying to. As a Solasta fan, I don't think I can help about the hot climate. Well, yeah. Yep. Hot is hot. Ito is a bot? I'm pretty sure Ito is the last person to be a bot. He's been here on like so many streams we've seen him. Like, if it's a bot, it's the best coded bot ever. I would be like, damn, that's a sentient bot at this point. Okay. All right. Well, in that case, I think I have caught up with all the chat. So if you guys have any more questions or anything you want to talk about, please do say so in the chat now. If you don't have any question but you want me to talk about a certain topic in the development cycle or anything we have worked on, please feel free to actually type that in chat. And otherwise, I will be logging off shortly. So, I do see a few questions. Well, one is, in a game where we can switch weapons infinitely, but then we get a feat that can cast spells while we have no free hand, it will be reworked. Okay, so that is actually something that we might limit. So the reason why for now it's infinitely switch is because it makes it easier for everyone in case you like make a mistakes, right? It can happen. You're like, oh, you misclick. You're like, oh, I want to like, I want to check how far I can shoot. So you switch to your bow, and then you're like, oh crap, I don't have. Actually, I can't shoot him. Okay, let me just go back to my regular weapon, and then you're like, oh, I can't, right? So we didn't want to cause too much friction on that, but like many CS settings, it is potentially like it's going. It is potentially going to be reworked in the fact that maybe in like normal and higher difficulty modes, there will be limited amount of times you can swap weapons. Maybe just once per turn, like in Solasta 1. So yes, depending on the difficulty, depending on settings, sometimes some features can feel a little bit less useful. For example, you could say the same, right? You could say, well, once you get the feature to remove the spellcasting component, where it's like, I don't want to have to deal with a spellcasting focus. I don't want to deal with having a spare hand, right? Like, some people don't like that, and that's fair. That you can absolutely play the game without that, because they find it tedious. They're like, I want to use a cleric, but I don't want to switch from my mace and shield back to an empty hand every time I want to cast a spell. And that's fair. So there will be an option for that. But then you're saying, oh, but because there's an option for that, the feat is useless. The feat to let you cast with both hands occupied is going to be useless. No, it's not. It's just going to be not useful in the the lower level of difficulty. Are you happy with the progress so far? Yeah, I mean, the game is really shaping up to be cool. I've already I've done recently a playthrough myself, mostly walking around the world map, killing mini bosses. I would love to show you guys, honestly, but unfortunately, because we don't have like cloud saving yet, it's in the office computer, and right now I'm on my personal computer, so I loaded the game and I was like, yes, no cloud save. I remember. How many general feats do you plan on having? I would hope that we add some more. I don't have a number in head, but we did look at the current number of feats, and we did want to add more as the level went up. Any thought about new homebrew content in Solasta? Yes, well, feats mostly, because we need to add more feats, and feats are not SRD. Why do I feel like I'm missing so many comments? I do not know. Maybe it's like auto moderator bot. Can we get a head size slider? When you want to make slim dwarf head, it seems too big. I don't know if that's possible. I think there's an issue with like if you scale up or down the size of the head, I think some things screw up. So I don't know. I wouldn't be able to say yes. I prefer how okay, so that was the weapon thing. Option to option to remove percentile notification. Yes. That is something that we do have in the backlog, because not everyone wants to see the percentage. Yeah, I understand. Especially in like authentic or something. I have to admit, I lightning blasted my whole way through Solasta 1. Oh, good thing you talked about the lightning bolt. Right now, our programmers have just shown me a way that they implemented the fact that AoE spells no longer go through walls. Hooray! Tactics! A tactical game where your shots don't go through walls anymore. Yay! So yeah, for those who don't remember or didn't play Solasta 1, one of the biggest issue we had in the tactical fights were that AoE spells would go through cover. And the reason for that is back then, the system we were using was making it too, I wouldn't say complex, but there was like issues with trying to make the lightning bolt stop at the wall, for example. Notably because the visual would like still go through and all that kind of thing. So there was a whole lot of reason why it couldn't be done. So in Solasta 2, when we started working on it, I said, guys, one of the things that we want to make sure of this time is that we are a tactical game. We cannot afford to have AoEs go through walls. And they said, yeah, that's right. And they are also agreeing. They're like, yes, we want to make sure that this actually works. And they have been like working on it and they have made it. So yes, we will have AoEs that don't go through walls this time. Ooh, great. And by the way, I said guys, but I'm like, it's not just me. Like I'm not the only one saying that we should have done that. So I was just reminding them of the community being like, I want something to go, not to go through walls. It's like, yes. Anything mentioned about the collector's edition? Yes, we did say that we don't know if there's going to be any, but considering we're with the help of Kepler, that might happen. Still praying for a crit fish feat. It's not really 5e in spirits, but I do like crit fishing, so since I'm also one of the guys designing the feats, there might be crit fishing in the game because I do like that. But that's very homebrew. Is New Game Plus still off the table? Yes, because we don't have a way to make the entire experience more difficult after New Game. So you would do New Game Plus and just arrive at the tutorial and just roll onto the poor kobold that have 8 HP while you're level 10. And you just vaporize them with a snap of a finger. What's your 1.0 party gonna look like on release? I personally like to make monks, even though I keep on making monks and they don't work out very well. But I kind of want a monk. I know I want a monk. Spellcaster is probably gonna be either a wizard or a sorcerer, because I'm not too much of a warlock fan and I'm not too much of a bard fan. Am I going to use a cleric or a druid? I think I'm still partial to the cleric instead of the druid. I think I'm gonna get a barbarian because I do like barbarians. It's very straightforward, and I enjoy the really straightforwardness of a barbarian. So frontline would be barbarian. Mobility guy would be monk, probably dex based. So I mean like full dex, so that they can get also everything that has to do with stealth and all that. I might get a ranger for long range and sorry, what's the name of that? The thing that has to do with the luck picking and all that. That leaves only one space for spellcaster. I do enjoy playing without a healer because that makes it more tense. So I think the last one would be a wizard or a sorcerer. So I would have no healer, no paladin. Ranger might have a few healing spells. But basically, I'm making it difficult for myself. Okay. Let's see. Which of the feats I like the best? I don't have them all in head, so I cannot answer that. All right. Why are you fixing my wall hacks? Will we get wall making spells? No, because I mean, I'm not gonna say no like that, but Wall making spells, if you're talking about like physical walls that you cannot pass through, probably not, because one of the main reason is it screws over the pathfinding of the monsters, and pathfinding takes a lot of computation time. So the more layers you add on top of that, the more you're gonna have to wait until the monster plays. It might not be that long, you know, maybe I'm overblowing it, because again, I'm not the programmer, but I know that you could very easily cheese a fight if you make walls so that the creature can't pass through, and that doesn't really, you know, make sense. Let's see. I really wish that in the next Dungeon Maker, the host of... Oh, wait, like, the host would be allowed to control the monsters. Okay, that's one step further. That is one step further. Let's see. Do we have any more questions? Will there be windows? Can you cast through them? Huh. I mean, there will probably be elements of the decor where... Because like in Solasta 2, you have to remember, it's no longer automatically half cover. Like, you know how that in XCOM or games like that, you have different type of cover where you can see immediately if it's half cover or a full cover. In Solasta 2, it doesn't work like that. It's basically there's a lot of rays going from different parts of your body to the enemy. If half of them are blocked, or less than half of them are blocked, they have half cover. If like most of them are blocked, they have 3/4 cover, and if all of them are blocked, they have full cover. So technically speaking, if the decor has a window that is open, because if it's closed, it's closed. But if it's open, then it's likely that you can shoot through it, unless you're like a halfling and you're too small. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, 5.5 made monks amazing as well. Let's see. Is there any more questions? Will there be any semblance of an arcane archer class? No. So if there is an arcane archer, that would either be like, you know, like an arcane archer. Again, we cannot just do the arcane archer. It would either be a fighter or or a ranger type of subclass. For the fighter, we already got our 2 subclasses, so not for 1.0. For the ranger, if we do have them, I think it's doubtful. It could be, but like we're gonna have to see. Okay. Okay, let's see. Dealing damage, blah blah blah. Custom mats, blah blah blah. XCOM mentioned, of course. XCOM is one of the favorite game of our game director, who loves it very much. The 2 games he loved the most, I think, are, well, I guess 2 of the games he really enjoyed. I don't know if it's his 2 times favorite, but Mass Effect and XCOM. Mass Effect because of the large amount of t-shirts of Mass Effect that they come to work with, and hoodies and all that. And XCOM because XCOM is just goated. Yes, it is affected by model size. Halflings are much easier. Halflings have much easier time getting into cover. But the other side of the coin is sometimes they don't have line of sight on enemies when they are blocked by like a bit of terrain, or they have like very little. Have you heard about Star Wars Zero Company? Yes. And are you gonna play it? Probably, yes. Because it's been a long time since we played like a good XCOM, and I hope it's gonna be good. Okay, I think that's going to be it for me then. So, thank you guys for being there today. I hope you guys enjoyed the little community stream. I know it's been a lot of yapping with a pretty much static background, but hopefully next time I can, play around while talking to you guys. And I hope that you guys enjoy summer, even though it's very, very hot. I do let you know that if you have any questions, as a reminder, Discord is here for you. I know that I don't answer all the time, but if you do have questions, you can always drop by the Ask the Dev forum and just drop a question, and then sometimes just drop by and answer. And hopefully we'll be able to meet again in a future community stream so that we can talk some more next time as well. All right, cheers, people, and goodbye.